Hey, this is the Cooler Master Case 5, a mid-tower case that offers some level of customization with some aftermarket add-ons called a Freeform Modular System for those who wish to get more out of this case series. In this video, I'll talk about the Master Case 5 itself, and hopefully in another video, I'll talk about its aftermarket accessories and add-ons. Cooler Master wishes to make an evolutionary way of how PCs are built by providing an easy way to customize, adjust, and upgrade. Sort of a one size fits all type of a deal by providing optional accessories for its base model under its name Master Case. The case's body measures 235mm width, 460mm height, and 460mm depth. It provides 7 expansion slots, therefore, it supports anything between mini ITX to ATX form factor motherboard. The actual body dimensions are 235mm in width, 512mm in height thanks to the feet and the handle, and 548mm in depth. For the front I/O, you can see Cooler Master provided two USB 3.0 ports and audio jacks. Blue coated USB 3.0 ports are not used so that it can gel with the aesthetic and the color of the case, so fair enough. Along with that, there's an activity LED, a power and a reset button. The front has a mesh all the way from top to bottom with the plastic sides just like the IO front panel section. The front panel supports up to 3 120 or 3 140 fans so that it can provide the best possible air intake. You can remove the front panel mesh very easily by pulling the frame by reaching towards the bottom. There are clips on a 5 1/4 inch base from the inside which can be easily removed. The ability to remove a part of the front panel from the outside helps for easy maintenance, so that's really appreciated. The only other plastic you'll find on the exterior is the handle cover. The handle itself is of metal, which is a part of the case, and both handle cover can be removed. The top panel has a honeycomb type mesh design and allows two 120 or two 140 fans. As you can see, there are 4 flat head screws on top which secures the mesh panel on the case itself. There is a fan filter, but it's on the inside. Once you remove the screws, you can access the top fan frame and the mesh filter. This is good not just for maintenance but also for easy installation. Alas, the only way to remove the filter is by removing the frame and the fans. The rear IO section supports a single fan of either 120 or 140 fan, but it's nice to see Cooler Master providing mounting holes in a way where you can adjust the placement of the rear IO fan to some extent. Just below that, you'll find 7 vented PCI slots, with the 7th one having a hook type PCI cover from the inside. Next to the PCI slots, you will find a honeycomb type mesh opening to provide some passive venting for the components. Just like all known cases, the power supply is mounted on the bottom. To install the power supply, you'll need to remove the 4 attached thumb screws so that you can remove the plate. Screw the plate on the power supply of your choice, slide it in, and secure those thumb screws again. Both the metal side panels are flat with no fancy designs. The side panels are removed by slightly pushing towards your rear and then lifted from the top. Once you do that, you get to check the internals of the case. They are secure on the case using thumb screws which will stay on the panel itself. There's really nothing much to talk about the panel since Master Case 5 does not have any windowed side panel variant, but should you require, you can purchase a windowed side panel. Unlike the top panel, the base has a removable mesh cover frame for easy cleaning. The metal base stands are shaped just like the case handles. It helps to maintain a good amount of space between the floor and the case's body. There are rubber feet glued on the base, but since I wasn't able to peel it off, I'm sure it's going to stay in its place. Once you remove the power supply mesh frame, you can see there's a long honeycomb vent to provide ample clearance for long power supplies with 140 fan intake. As you can see, the case is divided into two sections, the lower section and the upper section. The lower section has a lot of space for the power supply and to hide a lot of cables. You'll also find there's a stand towards the front which gives you an option to either swap the top mounted 2 by 3.5-inch hard drive bay or buy a separate set and install them over there. As you can see, the plate covers the lower section of the case nicely and also provides mounting mechanism for two 2.5-inch SSDs with corresponding cutouts to route any type of cables you require. Towards the upper section, the ATX form factor motherboard tray has a very large cutout so that irrespective of the motherboard layout, it gives you an easy access to install or remove the CPU cooler backplate for both air and liquid type. Other than that, there are three large grommets on the side of the tray and additionally large enough cutouts on the top so that you can route cables like the 8-pin ATX or the fan cables. This makes it very easy to hide as many cables as possible. One thing I would have liked to see is the pre-installed motherboard standoffs, but it's not a big deal since the user can do it themselves. A 5.25-inch cage and a 3.5 hard drive cage can be removed. This gives the user a freedom to install radiators towards the front with up to 3 by 140 or 3 by 120 fan placement. The radiator needs to be installed from the inside of the case, so there's a cutout on the horizontal tray which allows you to slip in a radiator setup up to 60 thickness. If you require to install the fans on the front, you'll need to do it from the outside by removing the mesh frames. It's nice to see that there are two dedicated brackets for 2.5-inch drives which helps you to conceal the SSDs. Some may want to show the SSDs on the system while some wouldn't. Just like the side panel and the PSU frame, the thumb screw on the SSD bracket stays on the bracket itself. You need to install the cable and router cables via its corresponding cutouts, therefore ensuring minimum to no visibility of the cables. Note that Cooler Master provided two separate set of cable routing cutouts. Judging by the cable's length, you can easily route the USB and the front panel audio headers while keeping most of the cable out of sight. While the Master Case 5 does not have the provision to install 240 or 280 radiators on the top, you have the choice to either buy the mounting add-ons for it or simply consider the Master Case Pro 5. This consists of a bracket and a top cover mesh. However, this is pre-included with the Master Case Pro 5 along the windowed side panel and the 2 by 3.5-inch HDD cage which is installed on the lower section of the case. Towards the right side panel section, you can see Cooler Master provided a large enough area to route any cables via the back of the motherboard tray. In place of cable tie loops, Cooler Master provides 3 Velcro strips to secure all the cables in place. There are 2 cable tie loops so that users can secure 8-pin EPS cable in its place. Additionally, you can install those SSD brackets behind. You can either use the included SSD brackets or get those add-ons separately. There is a clearance of a bit less than 1 inch, so it should be enough to hide thicker cables. So far, this case has made a good impression. Of course, there will be a full-size written review, but do let me know what you think about this case.